Hello. How is everyone today? It's been a fine week, I guess. Tired. But otherwise it's been fine. Hopefully you had a good Labor Day if you were able to get it off. We are going to finish Karma's a good ending today. We have 2 chapters left. And then we are going to play what are we playing next? I don't even remember. We're gonna play Dreaming Sarah next. Oh, wait, no. I think next week we're going to do another gotcha video. And I think that's all we're gonna do next week. We're gonna try to get E2 Robin next week. And try to get as many copies as Moza as we can. But yeah, I think that's all we're doing next week. And then the following week we'll play Dreaming Sarah. But anyway, let us just jump right in. I do have things I need to do today. Continue. Chapter 9. Today I will land another hit on you, Karma. If you can, darling, I welcome the challenge. Princess, your side is open. I bring my sword up closer to my side as a garland strikes me. Tonight is the first night I get to use a real sword as opposed to a practice sword. The sound of metal clashing echo into the night. Is this what a real battle feels like? We have been practicing under skirmish conditions for the last few days. Since tomorrow is the day we enact our plan, we are doing some last-minute practice. Remember, fighting back-to-back is better than doing it alone. Claude dodges Durin's sword as he speaks, but I notice that he seems to be taking special care not to look in my direction. He's been fine for the last few days, but I'm not sure when his pain will return. If only he would tell me what was wrong with him. When Claude finally calls the end of practice, we are all exhausted. Good job, everyone. Well, you'll be fine tomorrow. Garland turns to face me, a soft expression on his face. And if it comes down to it, Durin and I will protect you. Garland looks over his shoulder at Claude. Both of you. That's our job as knights. I do like that they still have their knightly duties, even though technically they're no longer knights. I'm quite capable of protecting myself, but I do appreciate the offer. It's late. We should all get some rest. The 2 knights excuse themselves, leaving me with Claude. Lucetta, you should go to bed. Princess, I have a feeling I won't sleep much tonight anyway. Be that as it may, you should still try. I'm about to retire for the night as well. I want to talk to you. About what? Claude takes a step back and I stare at his hand Claude takes a step back and I stare at his hand absently moving. And I stare as his hand absently moves to his chest. God, I don't know why that was so hard to read. Are you really okay, Claude? I've been perfectly fine this past week. He's lying. He is obviously in pain. Why do you have to keep your pain a secret? Why won't you talk to me? I've told you before that some things are better kept a secret, Princess. Claude sighs out, then leans forward to set his hand on my head. Lucetta, promise you'll stay behind me if we're attacked. And if at any point it looks like we may not make it, you're to run as fast as you can back to the margin. But that is cowardly. Lucetta, don't you remember what I said before? Sometimes running is the right thing to do. Never run into an impossible situation. Instead, live to fight another day. Promise me you'll stay behind me. Please, Lucetta. Give me the peace of mind. I promise. If it makes him feel better before going into this mission, I cannot deny his request. Claude's expression softens as he moves away from me. I'll stay behind you. Thank you, Princess. Let's attempt to sleep in preparation for tomorrow. When this is all over, I'll pry Claude's secrets out of him. It is kind of weird when people are like, oh, I have to know everyone's secrets. Like, they'll tell you when they are ready. Just don't try to just pry it out of them. Tonight is the night, and everyone is just about ready to go. I can't get this feeling of foreboding off my chest. Everyone is gathered close to the door, ready to see us off. Everyone except Princess. Rumple suddenly appears. Annie's coming up to stand next to him. What are you two doing here? Well, of course we came to wish you good luck, just like everyone else here. We'll be waiting for you tonight so that we can celebrate everyone's return. Be careful. Emily, who had been everywhere with her brother since they came here, is standing right beside him now with a smile. I will pray for your safe return. Her smile wavers, and I can tell she is uncertain. She has the great knights of Caldera, 2 witches and a prince. She'll be fine. Rod's responses are curt as usual, but I cannot help but notice the hesitation in his voice. Even though he stares at me without expression, I think I can see a tinge of worry in his eyes. I mean, he could be worried that the plan doesn't succeed, so the king and queen die in the end, not if we'll make it back. Rest assured that we will keep the princess safe. We're not going to let Alacaster get away with what he did to Angelia and its royal family. Parfait steps forward last. She and Delora glance at each other, and I feel as if some secret message bounces between the two of them. Delora nods ever so slightly before Parfait turns to the rest of us. Her eyes eventually fall on me. You've changed since you've been here, Princess, but your dedication and resolve never wavers. It has always been there, but beneath the surface. Stubbornness or resolve? It is as if Parfait is able to read my thoughts. She smiles as she sets a hand on my shoulder. Your dedication is very much like King Gennaro's. You are proud and honorable and always take steps in the right direction. That is why I know you'll be back tonight. Just as Rumple said, we'll be waiting for you, all of you. Stay safe tonight. I nod my head as everyone gathers around beginning to repeat their hearty goodbyes. It is Delora who walks away first. We all follow behind. The night has just begun. Our way to the palace gates is uneventful, but we pause some distance away from them to take shelter in a nearby alley, where there are knights everywhere. Waltz points to what looks like a regular section of the wall. There's the hidden door to the tunnels. If we time it right between the knights' patrols, we should be able to make it. On my signal, Claude puts a hand on my shoulder and squeezes. It is an abrupt gesture and doesn't last long, but the motion calms my nerves somewhat. We will be fine. Our footsteps echo in the tunnel. Standing in front of me is Durin and Garland, who are flanking Waltz. Delora stands beside me and Claude is at my back. This small tunnel makes it seem like we brought a lot of people. This way. We silently follow Waltz's instructions. How is it that Waltz knows about these tunnels? I've already taken into account the guards and where they might be positioned based on Prince Rod's information. We should be alright. Garland and I will act as distractions if needed. Princess, leave most of the fighting to us, and if there's any to be done. I know I will only fight if I need to. If only I wasn't cursed, I would be able to fight to my full extent. I think you're still quite capable without all of your magic, puppeteer. Oh, a compliment? It's an honor, Miss Karma. I'm only in this dress because of Durin, you know. Durin crosses her arms and cocks an eyebrow at Claude. It is kind of weird that they never put a curse on her just so everyone's like at full strength. It must be hard to sword fight in a long dress. I wouldn't fall in love with you no matter what you say. That's what they all say. We're here. Suddenly, everyone goes quiet. I feel a lot heavier as I stare at the staircase in front of me. This should lead to the throne room. I do not know we had a secret passage in the throne room. How much does Waltz know about the palace? Immediately after we step into the throne room, we split apart to avoid the guards' gazes. I stick close to Claude and Waltz as Delora conjures a blanket of shimmering fog that envelops the guards. I watch as the guards' eyes close before they slump to the ground. Delora drops her hands all up once all the guards are truly asleep. Amazing how intolerant humans are to magic. Let's keep going. Getting through the palace is no easy feat. Hallways that were easy to get through before are difficult to traverse now with all the soldiers standing around. Delora casts a spell to silence her footsteps and to quiet muffles, but moving is still difficult, especially with such a group. Eventually, we arrive just outside the tunnels that should lead to the castle's prison. We'll stand watch. Be careful, Waltz. I will. We enter another network of tunnels. Durin, Garland, after you. Durin glances at me briefly and then at Claude, who nods a little stiffly. We'll be right back. In accordance to the plan, Claude and I are left at the halfway point of the tunnel to ensure a clean escape as Delora, Durin, and Garland continue on to the prison. They should be fine, but I am still worried. My eyes wander to Claude, and I bite down on my lower lip when I notice that his hand is once again resting on his chest. I find myself reaching out to grab Claude's hand, but he swiftly pulls it away. The glare on his face takes me back by surprise. Why is he so angry? Claude puts a hand on his chest and flinches as he leans on the wall. Not now. His voice sounds pained. What is he talking about? Claude, I just need some space, princess, but I am fine. I cannot help but feel irritated by the way Claude has snapped at me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be this way. He trails off, his eyes distant. Because of your curse, right? Most of the time he is sociable and a pleasure to talk to, but then he reverts to this state. It is like he is two different people. I cannot understand why he is like this. Why do I care so much for someone who keeps secrets? Lucetta, I wish I could explain, but if I did, you would hate me. Or more accurately, you would be afraid of me. I could never be afraid of you. What is there to be afraid of? Claude wears a pained expression as he looks at me. I see him once again grabbing at the collar of his dress, looking like he's in some kind of quiet agony. That's what she said too. Is he talking about that one woman from before, the one who didn't love him? He thinks I'm the same? I am not like her. Lucetta. Claude's voice trails off at the sound of running. His hand moves quickly to the hilt of his sword just as I reach for mine. We only relax when we see that you're in Garland and Delora heading towards us. Why are they alone? Where are the king and queen? They were not in the prison. I have no idea where else they would be. Delora steps out from between the two of them, her expression somber. This doesn't bode well for us at all. We can't keep sneaking without a direction. That's a sure way to get caught. The words have just left her mouth when the alarm sounds behind us. Don't tell me. It's the alarm. Everyone draws their weapons as Waltz appears, running towards us with a hurried expression on his face. The knights are on their way. How did they know we were here? In seconds, I hear the clanging of metal, and then there are knights upon us. We are forced to scatter to deal with different opponents. A guard rushes at me with his sword, and I somehow manage to block his attack. I should be able to wind around him. And the knight falls after I catch him from behind and give Claude an opening to attack him. Lucetta, stay behind me. I promised I would, remember? Let's keep it that way. A smile flashes across his face, and for a few moments he seems more like the Claude that I know. A knight manages to separate Claude and I, leaving me by myself. He grabs my arm. Unhand me. I wonder if different witches' spells are different colors, or if they're all gonna be the purple color. I watch in shock as a shimmering fog surrounds my attacker. His eyes close as he slumps to the ground. He's only the first to fall. Seconds later, most of the knights in my immediate vicinity have fallen to the ground. I can tell by the subtle rise and fall of their chests that they are asleep. Sorry, I couldn't focus long enough to cast that spell earlier. Delora drops her hands and turns to address Waltz, Claude, and I. Head towards the entrance hall. The king must be in one of the central rooms. Garland and I will head to the bedchambers in the east wing to look for the queen. Splitting up is not part of the plan. We don't have much of a choice anymore if we're going to get the king and queen out of here. We have to improvise. Now go. Claude grabs my hand and jerks his head at Waltz. Let's go. The three of us rush out into one of the palace hallways. I keep my gaze forward while Waltz and Claude watch for enemies on either side of us. On our right, Claude grabs his sword and moves before Waltz and I can respond. He dives low towards the soldier, his sword posed straight for a devastating blow. The knights begin to approach us from the left, and I raise my sword, readying myself. Walt snaps his finger, a flash of light blinding the men in the immediate vicinity, and I use the opportunity to rush the knights in front of me. I grit my teeth as I attack. Most of my blows are lucky. There are too many knights for me to be able to get the upper hand. There are so many of them. Well, if it isn't the most desirable princess. I whip around to attack the man that spoke to me, but he is nowhere to be found. Where is he? Who are you? I am Wonder. Lucetta. I turn and see Claude running towards me, a panicked expression in his eyes. I take a step towards him, but a masked man suddenly blocks my path. Who are you? I raise my sword, but the masked man taps his cane on the floor before I can swing. An incredible pressure blasts out from the cane. It shoves Claude to the floor and blows me backwards. I hit the wall hard and my vision darkens. Claude. Where am I? Why can't I see anything? My head hurts. Rise and shine, Sleeping Beauty. I jerk upright at the familiar voice. You're the man who knocked me out. The man laughs and I blink as I try to pinpoint the direction of his voice. Did he blindfold me? I command you to take off this blindfold. I don't take orders from princesses that no one remembers. But I am a gentleman, so I suppose I shall have to heed a lady's request. The blindfold is abruptly pulled off, and I flinch at the sudden brightness. Why, hello there, princess. My captor looks at me amused. He wears a crooked grin on his masked face and a cape on his shoulders. Who is he? My eyes wander to the throne, and I cannot help but gasp at what I see. The king is strapped to the throne, hands bound, mouth covered. Your Majesty. The king pauses to look at me, his eyes containing a mixture of alarm and confusion. I turn to glare at the masked man. Let him go. No can do, princess. No. Don't you think he still looks regal, sitting on his throne like that? I grit my teeth as I begin to struggle against my bonds. Struggle all you like. You won't get out of those knots anytime soon. Who are you? The masked man drops into an elegant bow. I am called Varg. Varg. What have you done to my father? Me? Nothing. Well, nothing much. I guess gagging a person and tying their hands behind their back counts as something. Are you working for Sir Alacaster? I don't work for anyone. So he's a mercenary. The door flies open and Alacaster steps in, his face full of anger. Mythos, the fool. How absolutely useless he was. Varg gives a dismissive shrug. He regards me again with his mischievous smile. Well, I do agree with that wholeheartedly. That man is in the past. Here, in the present, we have someone far more interesting to deal with. Varg gestures at me. I glare at Varg before turning my gaze to Alacaster. I used to think Alacaster was someone to be respected. Not anymore. If it isn't the princess herself, you remember who I am? Once Mythos made the connection, it was just too obvious to be fake. Sir Mythos remembers me? Alacaster shifts his attention to the king. Gennaro, do you not remember this girl as your own blood daughter? My eyes meet the king's, but I see no recognition in his gaze. He cannot remember me. I haven't managed to break my curse yet. Why are you doing this to my father, to the kingdom? Everything I do for the kingdom. All successful rulers have run with an iron fist. Fear is the best motivation. A king that is too lenient does not inspire fear, has no business being on the throne. But the people of Angelia loved their king. Before I had thought that the town people were despicable because they hated me. Now I understand those reasons. They may have judged me as mother's daughter, which is wrong, but that does not mean they should be subject to a regime of fear. Your obligations as a ruler is to rule for the country, not the people. Back when the queen was still alive, and this place knew the fear of the witches, they were far more productive. Fear motivates. Fear makes a man. King Alacaster, you better have a good excuse for interrupting. Your Highness, there's a beast. What are you blobbering about, you fool? A beast, a magical beast, is rampaging around the palace. Is this the dead witch's doing? Dead witch? No, Dolores is fine. She has to be. Out with it. Did Mythos do this? What? I cannot stop myself from blurting out the question. Sir Mythos is a witch? He was a witch, but now he is dead. He turns to his knight and demands more information. I am too shocked to hear those words. Sir Mythos, a witch? Impossible. What of the other palace intruders? We've managed to apprehend some of them, but we can't get to everyone with the beast taking us out. That damned Mythos, still a pain even after death. What did you do to Sir Mythos? Did you not hear me, girl? He's dead, killed by my hands. But why? He was helpful at first. We worked together to achieve our personal goals. He eyes me cautiously. He wanted you, princess. If Sir Mythos was a witch, that would explain why he still remembers me. Why did he want me? Who knows? It doesn't matter anymore. I gave him my knights to assist him in his search when the witches could not. But in the end, that fool was too power-hungry. You never entered into my plans. You would have been safe, princess, had you just stayed put. But now that you're here, you'll come in handy. Alacaster turns back to the knight, who immediately burst into explanation once more. The beast is moving quickly. We don't know how much longer we can keep it from this room. There's a beast in the palace, and it's Sir Mythos' doing? I'm so confused. And what about the others? Are they okay? Let me go, Alacaster. You're not going anywhere. It sounds like some of your friends are very persistent. They'll be coming for you, and when they get here, I will kill them. You, princess, are going to make excellent bait. You know, I like this turn of events. Kind of amusing. You, tell me what all of this is. Varg looks unmoved by Alacaster's anger. It is Mythos that summoned the beast, is it not? And then you must know what is happening. You're asking me, of all people? Ha! As if I would be able to answer any of your questions. You... Varg. It doesn't matter how many times you say my name, Alacaster. I won't have any answers for you. Sir Alacaster turns to me, his eyes manic. Whether this is Mythos' magic or magic belonging to one of your friends, I'm not going to let it live. Could Dolores create a beast out of thin air? Sir Alacaster draws his sword from his sheath and curses under his breath. I squirm, desperate to find some kind of break in my restraints. Varg surprises me, however, by reaching down and cutting the ropes, binding my hands with a sword that I recognize. You have my sword. I stand up as quickly as I can and grab the sword from him. That was too easy. I eye Varg wearily as his mouth twists into a smirk. What are you doing? Why are you helping me? Hell, all I did was cut some ropes. Besides, I'm curious to see what you'll do with that toothpick of a sword. He talks like he doesn't care at all what happens. Don't think about it too much, Princess. It's probably a little too much for your small head. I swing my sword towards him and Varg catches it with his cane. You really think I'm the one you should be fighting? The door cracks and falls off its hinges. The knights stumble back, and I hear screaming as loud footsteps sound against the hall's tiles. So what will you do? Run, hide, or will the beast kill you too? My eyes focus on the large figure entering the room. Though I cannot make out specifics at first, the form grows more distinct the further it moves into the room. Whatever this is, I cannot fight it. There is a moment of eerie silence, and then Alacaster yells, and the knights rush forward, attacking the beast as a collective. The beast throws them off with surprising nimbleness, his rage in every swipe. I dodge away just before a man's body falls on top of me. Over here, beast. Sir Alacaster rushes at the beast. I finally manage to get a clear line of sight to the king, who is still bound and helpless to the throne. The king. I have to get him out of here. I run towards the throne, but someone stops me dead in my tracks. Saving the king really shouldn't be your priority right now. I grit my teeth and swing my sword at Varg, but he easily darts away from me. I would watch my back. It is then I notice the beast slowly making its way towards me. Why would it be after me? Either I stay here and fend it off, or Alacaster catches the beast with a broad swipe of his sword, and the two are forced once more on each other. I glance urgently at the king, then at the doors. The beast moves again, and I realize that it is once more heading towards me. There is no way I can help the king in all of this mess. I need help. I have to find the others. Hopefully, Alacaster will keep this beast busy long enough for me to get them. I turn and bolt through the room, weaving my way through the chaos of knights as I head towards the door. I glance over my shoulder one last time at the king. His eyes are trained on the battle before him. His hands grip the arms of the throne, but there's nothing he can do. I'm so sorry, I'll be back. But for now, I have to find the others. I dart past the carnage in the room, stepping over and around bodies as they appear. Halfway to the door, the beast lunges past Sir Alacaster, and for a few moments I think he might be attacking me. Stay back. I hold my sword out in front of me and stand in a defensive position, like Claude taught me, but the beast never reaches me. You've ruined everything, beast. Alacaster is suddenly in front of me, waving his sword at the beast. I stumble back towards the doors, my heart beating loudly in my chest. I have to get out of here. Chapter 10. Where did the beast come from? Knights immediately rush towards me. I back away as far as I can without re-entering the throne room. Princess, come quickly and we'll keep you somewhere safe until all of this dies down. I cannot take them all on at once, even knowing that I still put out my sword. I take a few steps back and then suddenly feel my back pressed up against something. The beast stands behind me, its back to me. I stand in its shadow, and I realize that if I turn around, it could swat me to the walls just like the rest of its victims. But it's just standing there, together. The beast says nothing more, though I still feel on edge. There is something oddly familiar about this. Claude told me once it's better to fight back to back. I will trust you for now, whatever you are. I do not know if it understands me, but I can hope. It seems more like a human than any kind of animal. Princess, get away from the beast. The knight never finishes his sentence as the beast sends him flying through the air. Why is he helping me? The knights fall like dominoes to the beast, but manage to remain standing when I strike them with my sword. Even just taking one down is so hard. These men have been trained for years, while I haven't had the luxury of a year. Out of the corner of my eye, I sense movement. I see a gleam of silver and hear a grunt as a sword is raised in the air. The sword is nowhere near reaching me, but the beast. I aim a kick at an approaching knight before whirling around to look at the beast. The oncoming sword comes closer to the beast's exposed back, and I know the beast will not be able to dodge in time. Move. I shove past the creature and catch the knight's sword with my own before it can harm the beast. My arms are shaking underneath the strength of the impact between our swords. I feel like my arms are going to give out. I see a flash of light appear, then a flash of light appears so bright that everyone is temporarily blinded. I stumble back, rubbing at my eyes From the sounds of it, the beast is continuing to drive back the knights, most of them shouting at each other to retreat. What was that? When I am finally able to see again, my eyes automatically land on my feet. I stare in shock. Your necklace turned into a pair of glass slippers, not just a singular slipper. Glass slippers. I quickly reach up to my pendant and I realize that it is no longer there. I completed my 3 good deeds. Lucetta, it knows my name. I look around and realize that the beast and I are alone. The knights have fled. Did the beast drive off the rest of them? I feel a pressure at my back and realize the beast is touching me. My first instinct is to run, but the words it utters next paralyzes me. You okay? Every word sounds breathless in pain, like it takes too much to speak. Is it worried about me? I watch in shock as the beast appears to gesture towards my shoes. You did it. I step back wearily. What are you? The beast reaches out and I see something glittering in the palm of its hand. The rose locket. For a moment, my heart plummets into my stomach and my hands begin to quiver. What did you do to Claude? The beast's shadow's fingers curl over the locket even as he stares at me. I gave the locket to Claude. The beast only stares at me for a few moments longer, and then suddenly I realize that his words, nothing more than pained growl, did not hold any malice. I gave that locket to you? The beast slowly nods. My gasp on my sword loosens as I stare at him in shock, realization dawning on me. Claude? Yes. So, this is your secret? Why would you not tell me? I could have hurt you. Claude has another form, a cursed form, and he never told me. Why? As my mind whirls, I feel everything coming together like the pieces of a puzzle. Secrets are secrets for a reason, Princess. You should know that. If I could speak of them, I would, but I can't. Lucetta, I wish I could explain. You would hate me, or more accurately, you would be afraid of me. All of those times Claude was clutching at his chest. You were touching your tattoo so many times before like you were in pain. The beast growls. The sound is surprisingly soft, almost a sigh. Curse. Then the tattoo was a warning. The first time I saw that tattoo, it was a beautiful rose. The second time, it was more thorns. When the rose becomes ensnared in thorns, did he transform? And he always touched his tattoo when he came close to me. Claude, your curse did not just make others fall in love with you. It stopped you from loving anyone too, didn't it? He mentioned that woman before, the one who taught him love, the one he thought loved him, but didn't. Is it possible that she saw him in this form and was terrified of him? If you loved anyone, you would turn into a beast. You loved a woman once, but she only loved you because of your curse. The minute you transformed, she was scared of you, wasn't she? Yes. He sounds so pained. The reason Claude had been trying to hide everything from me is because he is scared that I would have feared him. That is why beauty has always been so important to him. But the curse cast upon him makes him both beautiful and a beast. I wanted you to love me, but no one could love a beast. His words are dwindling. It almost sounds like he's being suffocated on the inside with how slowly he's speaking. Claude, I have never cared much about appearances. People have worn masks on their face their whole lives around me. Claude, I take a deep breath and face him. I will love you no matter what form you take. I drop my sword to the ground and make my way over to him. I rest my cheek on his chest and wrap my arms around him. I love you. The room is filled with a bright, gentle light. It almost feels like I'm bathing in sunlight. For a few moments, I forget my worries. Everything feels blissful and quiet. My heart feels full. Then, moments later, I feel warm arms around my waist. I love you too, Lucetta. Wait, his outfit was magical too? He's no longer in his dress? When I open my eyes, I cannot see anything, even though I know that the light has faded. That warmth is there too, but now I feel it immediately on my skin. And I realize that it is because Claude is hugging me, not as a beast, but as a man. Did I break his curse? I realized this is the first time Claude had ever touched me for a long period of time without abruptly moving away. I tentatively moved my hands, feeling the fabric of his shirt and the warmth of him underneath. God. But before I can finish my sentence, my lips are sealed. I feel Claude's lips on mine only briefly, but it is enough to make me suddenly feel faint. He pulls away from me with a brilliant smile. I've always wanted to do that. Lucetta, you're blushing. If I could, I would kiss you again. But we have some urgent things to attend to. The reality of the situation begins to seep back into me. My father, Varg, Alacaster. They are still in the throne room. The king! Let's go, Lucetta. When Claude and I rush into the throne room, my attention is immediately grabbed by the king calling my name. Lucetta. He is still bound to the throne, though the gag is removed. A rush of relief floods through me. He is alive. He is alive and he remembers me. My gaze is drawn to the two men battling at the base of the throne. Their swords are locked together in a stalemate. Alacaster and Fritz? When did Fritz get here? What has happened here? This is not how you gain power. I know you would be a thorn in my side for the moment I concocted this plan. Where is Varg? The only one here is me, and I will... Fritz concentration slips as his eyes land on me. The opening is small, but it is enough to give Alacaster the opportunity he needs. Watch out! Claude is already running over to help, but even he is too slow. Alacaster disarms Fritz before driving his sword through Fritz's chest. Well, we got someone else killed this time. Well, whoops. No. Alacaster pulls the sword out of Fritz's chest just fast enough to deflect Claude's attack. As Claude drives Alacaster away from the throne, I rush to where Fritz has collapsed on the ground. His eyes are already growing glassy. Fritz! I lean over him. There's so much blood. I glare at Alacaster. How could you do this to your own son? Anyone in my way will meet my sword. Blood does not matter. Princess. I turn back to Fritz in alarm, tears in my eyes. Fritz, hold on. Don't speak. You need to conserve your energy. Princess, I'm sorry. Fritz, please, don't speak. I feel bitter tears stinging my eyes. I'm sorry. Are we gonna somehow activate our magic and save Fritz in time? I watch as the life seeps from Fritz's eyes. I put my hands to his chest to feel for a heartbeat, but Fritz's body is still. Fritz! I glance up at the sound to see Claude at the far side of the room, struggling to get to his feet. Lucetta, watch out. I turn, but am not fast enough. I see Alacaster's sword rise high in the air, and I know it will reach me before I can pick up my sword. The sword falls from Alacaster's hand as a bright red ribbon of light winds around the hilt and drags it far from reach. I turn and see Dolores standing a short distance away, Jern, Garland, and Waltz all standing beside her. I'm afraid your performance as king has been incredibly disappointing. Jern and Garland move together, rushing Alacaster from the same side. I see Claude moving in from the other side, quiet and lethal. Princess. Waltz and Delora rush over to me as the fighting continues. Alacaster has reclaimed his sword and is trying to evade attacks from 3 different swords at once. The king. Waltz nods at me, his gaze lingering on Fritz as his expression becomes solemn. He walks off to the throne while Delora kneels beside me. Delora shakes her head, and that is all I need to know, that there is nothing more to be done. We will make sure he is properly honored, but for now, we need to get you out of here. What about Ophelia? Waiting for us somewhere safe. I constructed a shield around her that will keep her hidden from view and harm until we return for her. Weren't we meant to bring the royal family back to the Marchen first? Not when we're missing the king. Besides, the plans changed when a magical beast started rampaging in the castle. Princess. I turned to look at Alacaster, who is still somehow managing to scream my name despite the fact he is being quickly overwhelmed. Princess, we could have worked together. If you were more like your mother, you could have ruled with grace, beauty, and fear. I flinch back, and Delora's hands come to rest on my forearms, her grip steadying. This is enough. I look up and see the king has stopped to stand beside me. To my surprise, the king rests a gentle hand on my shoulder, his eyes soft as he looks at me. Lucetta, we have a lot to talk about, but right now I have something I must do. I nod mutely and watch as the king draws his sword. He makes his way to Alacaster. During Garland and Claude step back from where they have forced Alacaster to one knee. You are a traitor lacking any honor, Alacaster. You were the one that lacked honor. A ruler must have the people beneath his thumb. A ruler must lead people, not suffocate them. His oath as king is to protect them. You are no king, Alacaster. For your crimes, I find you guilty and incapable of rehabilitation. The sentence for the severity of your crime is death. The king raises his sword, and I turn away before he strikes down his sword. There's no sound or screaming to follow. I turn once more to see that the king has pointed his sword at Alacaster's chest, but has not killed him. You will stay in the prisons until the time of your trial comes. Though you might try to refute these claims, you will be tried as a traitor to the kingdom, and then you will be executed. Alacaster's shoulders fall. The glare never leaves his face, not even when the guards seize him and drag him from the room. The king immediately sends Durin and Garland out to deal with any of the knights that are still a part of the coup. Delora and Claude hunt with moving Fritz's body, while Waltz tries his best to fill the king in on the most basic points of our successful operation. Everything has died down a little bit over the last hour, but I still feel overwhelmed. I glance at Waltz and the king, who are still speaking. Every time the king sees me looking at him, he flashes me an uncertain smile before glancing away. I know he wants to speak with me, but I will talk to him after I get Fritz's body out of my mind. It was my fault he died, wasn't it? He saw me and stumbled. Hey, princess. What are you doing here? Here I thought you changed, but you still got some feistiness in you, don't you? Many years ago, when the war ended, we were all faced with a feeling just like this princess. We had lost so much, and the future seemed so grim. But now is different. You have a future. You broke your curse, princess. That gives you some kind of hope, and in addition, you broke karma's. Memories of Claude's arms around me, his lips on mine, come flying back to my foggy mind. My heart still feels tight, but it is a little lighter when I think about him. I wish he was here right now. How did I break Claude's curse? Claude, I don't think I'll ever get used to his real name. Seems like he hasn't told you yet. I guess it's been pretty hectic. So Claude turned into a beast because he loved me? Well, I guess I could give you the lowdown of his curse. Stop. Deceased. Delora has not even started to speak when Claude runs into the room, gasping as if she's been running through the halls. Curse. Are you talking about my curse? There's no way he heard us talking in the hallway, is there? Even I feel at a loss for words right now. I sense that you were talking about me. The princess was just asking me about your curse. Oh, then I was right to come running, and here I was just guessing at what you might be talking about. Claude's curse was based off the tale Beauty and the Beast. Claude easily finishes her sentence. Delora holds up her hand as if in surrender, so eager to steal the spotlight. Well, you are talking about me after all. You always told me that your curse was just the beauty's curse, though. Well, yes, because the other half was a little difficult to explain, wasn't it? He has a point, though I think he might have been able to save us all some trouble if he hadn't been so secretive about his curse. He really must have been scared that I would shun him. Allow me to explain, princess. In the fairy tale, the prince of a kingdom is transformed into a beast because his heart is as cold as ice. Sounds familiar to an icy princess, eh? Just trying to lighten the mood. Claude sighs. I would call Lucetta something far more flattering, like my sweet, beloved. We were talking about your curse. Oh, right. Well, anyway, the witch who cursed the prince in the tale tells him that he has to learn to love and be loved before the petals of the rose completely fall off. A rose? Yes, she gave me a rose. Yes, she gave him a rose, and he keeps it protected under glass. Some time passes, and the rose continues to wither away. A maiden finds the beast, and eventually the two fall in love. At the end of the tale, she confesses her love to the beast, and he transforms back into a human. By confessing, I saved you, but his curse was different from the tale. I know what you're thinking, that my curse was somewhat different. It was more complicated. The witch made it so that I was both the beauty and the beast. She said it suited me more because I was so vain. The witch constructed a very roundabout curse. Any woman who falls for me falls in love with me as the beauty. And when I transform into a beast, the enchantment would break and they would be terrified of me. I doubt Claude even thought he would break his curse. The love woman felt for him while he was cursed was always fake. How could that kind of love hold strong when he transformed into a beast if it was never true to begin with? Then you came along, princess. I bet he just about given up hope and was waiting for you to dispel the curse on your birthday. But now, here you both are. But the Ice Princess in love? What a miracle. I turned away, embarrassed. It's not a miracle. I am very glad I met you, Lucetta. Lady Dolores' words are the truth. I had just about given up hope. I never had any hope of breaking my curse. I had thought the only way to fix it would be to have you to spell it on your birthday. But then I came to know you, and he fell in love. A fairy tale indeed. You started out frowning at everyone and everything. You've come a long way, princess. Congratulations. You turned out to be a pretty okay princess. And you turned out to be a pretty okay witch. Gasp. Do my ears deceive me? A compliment from our little witch? You look so surprised, but you'll be the new bearer of our crystal real soon, princess. I expect good things from you. Right, I almost forgot about that part. I'll try my best. Yet another miraculous proclamation from the witch. Will the surprises never cease? Before I can snap at Delora again, the king awkwardly interjects, coming to stand next to us with Waltz by his side. Pardon the intrusion? Oh, not at all, your majesty. Waltz told me you were cursed. That's why I forgot about you. Yes? Even if it was by curse, I feel terrible that such a thing could have ever happened. So I will make it up to you. We can catch up from here. We can catch up from where we were many, many years ago, and maybe things can be different. I'm sorry. What for? For being the way I was before. For shunning Ophelia and her children. Oh, Ophelia. Did they bring her back to the merchant? Ophelia is still here. After the fight was over, she was shown back to her room. She is still waiting for Rod and Emily to return. Now, would you be willing to tell me the story from the beginning? Perhaps I can fill in the gaps, your majesty. Claude? The king looks startled when he stares at Claude. He blinks as if he had just noticed his presence. Oh, and you are? Claude elegantly bows before the king. I am Prince Claude of Brigantia. A pleasure to finally meet you, your majesty. The lost prince. The king turns to look at me, puzzled. It's a long story. Claude surprises me by wrapping an arm around my shoulders and pulling me closer to him. Everyone looks shocked except for Delora, who looks like she's trying not to laugh. As the princess's lover, I feel it's my obligation to help her explain this whole mess. I feel my face getting hotter as Claude's sudden proclamation. All their eyes are now on me, and I suddenly feel like hiding myself. Only Claude would so bluntly say such a thing. The king looks more shocked than anything. When did this happen? Well, your majesty, I think we'd better start at the beginning. We were able to tell the king everything, save for where Varg had disappeared to. No one was sure where he had gone in all of the chaos. The knights' search for him all ended in failure. A lot of explanation had to be done, not just to the king, but also to the people at the tavern. As soon as everything had calmed down, Rod and Emily finally went back to the palace. I apologized to them as best as I could, and they all seemed willing to try again with me. And I'm willing to try again too. As for Claude... So you're going back? Are you sure you don't want to come to Brigantia with me, just for a short holiday? I would love nothing more than to introduce you to my family. Mother would shower you with gifts. Father would, well, tease you, probably. He makes jokes frequently, and... Llama? What did you just say, llama? He has a pet llama? My brother, Llama. What? Is this another... It's another acronym. We're Karma and Llama. Does your father do these things on purpose? I told you he likes jokes. My brother's real name is Lance. I was going to bring you back and introduce the two of you. And you could tell my little brother how very charming I am. Is it just my imagination, or is there a glimmer of competition in his eyes? As much as I would like to meet your family, you have your own obligations here. And you need to let your family know that you are safe and alive. But the thought of being separated from you... Claude sighs before he leans down and plants a kiss on my forehead. I'll miss you. You won't be gone that long. Love, that's not how you're supposed to respond. You're supposed to say, my sweet prince, I'll miss you too. Fine then, I'll miss you, maybe. Claude raises an eyebrow at me and then smiles. I'll be back for your birthday. I love you, Lucetta. It has only been a few weeks since Claude left, but I am impatient. The king has been throwing grand dinners every night in preparation for my birthday, but I can hardly concentrate on anyone else when I am thinking of Claude. I told him about all the smaller birthday celebrations. I thought he would be here for them. My birthday is in a few days. When will he come back? I have tried to make myself busy, mainly by continuing my sword practice with Durin and Garland, who have both rejoined the Order of Caldera. Every time I am around the nights, I think of Fritz. I shall bring some new flowers tomorrow. If Claude would just return already, we could go pay our respects together. Hello, Lucetta, my love, my sunshine, my beautiful betrothed. Claude. I shake my head and try to gather my thoughts. First of all, you did not knock. Second, we are not engaged. We may as well be, don't you think? At the very least, knock before you come in. Still worried I would come in on you in the middle of changing? Would you have minded so terribly? Yes. It's worth saying those things to just see you blush. Why are you even here? His arrival is so sudden, and I had absolutely no time to prepare. Claude sighs dramatically. You don't want me back here? No, I mean, you didn't even write to say you'll be back today. I just wasn't expecting you. I did say I would be back for your birthday. I am a man of my words. Should I have stayed out longer? No, of course not. I grumble as Claude walks over to my bed, grinning. He sits down on the bed next to me and wraps his arms around my waist, pulling me closer. I sigh out and lean my head on his shoulder. It is a startling contrast to what it used to be. Before, if I touched him, he would flinch and turn away from me. Now, he's always right next to me. Claude's whole body seems to relax when I tentatively wrap my arms around him and hug him back. I knew I would miss you, but it really was terrible being away from you. But you enjoyed your time with your family. I did, and my brother was very frustrated that I spoke about you almost every hour of the day. How could you have that much to say about me? Oh, I felt that I didn't have enough time to list all of your virtues. I nudge him in the arm, but he just grins at me. The glint from Claude's pocket catches my eye, and I flush proudly when I notice the rose locket. Looking at the locket makes me think back to the night when he transformed back into a prince. Lost in thought, are we? I was just noticing the locket. You still carry it around with you. Of course I do. It has become my most valued possession. He pulls the little locket out and pops it open. I am startled when I see the small sheet of paper with my own words on it. My message to him is still there. Claude smiles as he reads the words aloud. A normal rose would have withered, so I offer this one instead, in heartfelt thanks. I say nothing when he turns to look at me. Oh, your cheeks are red again. Your embarrassment is adorable, darling. I am not embarrassed. I just don't think he'd keep the words in there or that they would ever mean so much to him. Yes, of course. You just have exceptionally rosy cheeks, He pauses as he closes the locket again and looks at it fondly. I love this locket because it is the first gift you gave me. He was holding the locket as the beast too. It was half of the reason I recognized him. I jumped as Claude gently taps my nose with his finger. This locket isn't going anywhere anytime soon, I can assure you. I smile as he winks at me. Anyway, allow me to pull you back into the present. Since I promised you no more secrets, let me tell you something. Oh? Claude looks away from me, his eyebrows furrowed, and I frown. I hope it's nothing serious. I'm nervous about sitting down to dinner with your father tonight. You're nervous? I started laughing without even meaning to. You're laughing at my pain, princess? He pulls me closer and kisses the top of my head. But you are too flamboyant to be nervous. I'm confident, princess, not flamboyant. There's a difference. Right. Claude's expression grows more solemn. He looks at me seriously, almost sadly. Lucetta, I'm still sorry about lying to you. The whole time, I made myself up to be someone beautiful, someone I wasn't. I believe I was truly a good person on the inside and that I deserved good things, even though I was selfish. He already apologized to me before, too many times. Claude, you have nothing to apologize. No, that which was right did curse me. I've always had everything handed to me on a silver platter. When I came to Angelia, I believed that if it wasn't going to break my curse, it wasn't important. And then I met you. At first, I thought I would just have to get on your good side so you could help me dispel my curse. But then, Lucetta, I realized I was drawn to your confidence and commitment. But I could never admit that I was in love with you. I was so scared that if I transformed into a beast and you were scared of me, I would lose my chance at winning your heart. So you see, princess, I am selfish. I wanted all of you without having to give you all of me. I look down at where our hands are intertwined, and I grasp his fingers tighter. I told you enough times now that you have nothing to apologize for. But if you insist on apologizing, maybe you ought to do something to make it up to me. Those words are out of my lips before I can even think them. I stop suddenly, trying to ignore the hot flash in my cheeks. Claude looks at me, puzzled, and for a few moments I feel triumphant that I have caught him off guard. Then the puzzled look fades, and Claude just grins at me. Oh my, so forward. I open my mouth to apologize when he suddenly grabs my hands and tugs me down to the bed. Claude taught me in my sword fighting are quickly overwhelmed by my surprise, and in no time at all he has me pinned down to the bed and is looming just above me, smiling. I'm disappointed. Princess, you knew my weakness, and you didn't even exploit it here. Your weakness? Yes. He leans closer to me, and our noses almost touch. My weakness is you, Lucetta. He leans down, and our lips finally meet. I relax into the contact, my earlier tension melting away as warmth flows through me. He pulls away and smiles at me. You see, I let my guard down in front of you. I let my guard down in front of him too, and only him. This whole time, all I wanted to do is to be able to touch him like this. His fingers move gently up my arm, and he leans down to kiss me again. The sound of knocking startles us both. A muffled voice comes through the door. Princess, the king is requesting your presence down in the dining hall. He says that your friend has arrived. Princess? I hear the doorknob begin to turn and quickly speak. Yes, I'll be there in a minute. I will let him know, Princess. First the curse and now this. It is as if the world is conspiring against us. He kisses me once more on the forehead before slowly sitting up and running his hands through his hair. I catch the mischievous look in his eyes as I smooth down my own ruffled hair. Don't worry, Lucetta. Just finish this later. Feel my cheeks flush. You say such uncouth things. Claude chuckles before he stands up and offers his hand. I take it and smile up at him. I love you, Lucetta, and now I get to say it as many times as I like. I love you too, Claude. I stand up on my toes to plant a quick kiss on his lips before heading to the door. Let's go, Claude. And that's the end. Yay. That was cute. I do like that besides becoming a better person, she's also willing to try again with her family, and that they're willing to try too. I kind of wished that we got to see a little more about her actually becoming a witch and stuff, not just having a cute little scene of them being a couple. But overall, I did enjoy the Karma story. We'll see how everyone else's story stacks up to it. I know that Rumple's the next one in the list to do, but I don't really want to do Rumple. I think Rumple's probably gonna be the last one we do. I think we're gonna work on Waltz's next. I kind of want to see how his goes. It does suck that Fritz died, but it is nice that we keep him in our memories and constantly go to his graveyard to give him flowers. That is a cute little touch. And now we have this little like section filled in, which I think is so cool to actually show your progress and stuff. Let's see, did we get all the photos for Karma? We did. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna do Waltz's next. But anyway, like I said, next week we're gonna try to pull for E2 Robin. And then the following week we'll play Dreaming Sarah. And then we'll come back and work on this again. But either way, I hope everyone has a good rest of their day. And I will see you next week. Bye.